Oh man, the Wii U. I mean, like, what can you say about this thing? It was Nintendo's biggest flop by far in terms of home consoles go, at least. And, you know, it was coming off of one of their biggest successes, the original Wii, which is one of my favorite consoles of all time. So when the Wii U was announced, I was excited. I was hyped because, you know, like I said, I loved the Wii. It was probably the most excited I've ever been for a console, just because of the motion controls and how new it was, how revolutionary it felt. The Wii U, people were confused about it. It came with this tablet controller. People didn't know if it was an add-on to the Wii or if it was a whole new console. People didn't understand it. I don't think the innovations that the Wii U brought to the table were as obvious as something as motion controls. So unfortunately, it did not garner that same audience that the Wii brought in. So the Wii U didn't have as many games made for it, and my collection is fairly small because of that. I have about 50 games, but I think the games I do own are pretty great. I mean, the library on the Wii U is very fun. There's a lot of unique games that you can't find anywhere else. So with that being said, I mean, let's get started. Let's go through. We'll start off with a banger here. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. Man, yeah, no, obviously I'm kidding. This is not a banger. I remember when this was announced, it was during a Nintendo E3 Direct, and at the time, people were clamoring for a new Animal Crossing game. They were really looking forward to something new from Nintendo in terms of Animal Crossing. They had Animal Crossing games on the 3DS, but a console Animal Crossing hadn't happened since City Folk on the Wii U, on the original Wii, and this was obviously not that. This was not what people expected. I remember there was an Animal Crossing like app or channel on the Wii U that was almost like the Wada Wada Plaza, where the villagers would show up there and you could just talk to them or do something. It wasn't there wasn't too much to it, but you could see models of these villagers in HD, which we hadn't seen before, and people were, you know, saying, oh, they're going to use these HD models for a new Animal Crossing game. And when they announced Amiibo Festival during their E3 Direct, I think everybody was tricked. Everybody thought Amiibo Festival was going to be a brand new Animal Crossing game, and then some dice rolls showed up, and wow, the game that we got is not even close to being what I would expect from Nintendo and Animal Crossing. I mean, I held out hope. I was like, maybe it's going to be some sort of Mario Party-esque party game with some mini games and fun stuff to do, and maybe it has that Animal Crossing charm. But man, there is just so little depth. There's nothing to this game. You literally roll the dice, move around, and try to collect happy points and see. You know, it does have some of that Animal Crossing charm with some of the events that happen, but those events are non-playable. You're just watching something. And I really think this game was made to sell Amiibo and Amiibo cards, because you pretty much had to play with Amiibo. This game came with a couple Amiibo, and you tapped your Amiibo character to roll the dice, things like that. It just, yeah, there's so little to this game. And I mean, there were some side modes that were fun, like this Desert Island Escape was actually pretty cool. But the fact that the side modes in your game are the best part of it, that's sad, and that's saying something, man. I wish this game was better. I wish I could say some better things about Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, but I think we all know this did not turn out well. What did turn out well, though, was Bayonetta 2. The story behind this one is pretty wild. If you know, you know. Nintendo basically brought this game back from the dead. Bayonetta 2, it was in development. Sega did not want to publish it, so it was basically dead in the water. It was going to be canceled, but Nintendo stepped in and saved it, and Bayonetta is basically like a Nintendo franchise now. We got Bayonetta 3 on the Switch, Bayonetta Origins on the Switch, and I mean, the entire Bayonetta franchise you can play on the Switch at this point. What was cool about this one, though, because this was the first Bayonetta game on a Nintendo system, it actually came with a bonus disc of the original Bayonetta, and I thought that was really awesome. Bayonetta 2 was fantastic, though. I think it might be my favorite in the series. I'll have to go back and play it. But every Bayonetta game is great. I also loved, as you can see here, they had some Nintendo costumes like Peach, Link, Samus, which I love. Yeah, Bayonetta, awesome game. It was a huge surprise when this was announced and shown off. I think nobody really expected it, and big get for the Wii U library. Next up is Captain Toad. Another interesting one because Captain Toad started as a side mode in Super Mario 3D World. There were a couple levels that had these like Captain Toad stages, and there were like little puzzle dioramas. And I think everybody was talking about how, you know, this would make a really cool standalone game. And lo and behold, Nintendo went out and did that. Captain Toad is an awesome little, I guess, puzzle platformer, you'd say. I guess you don't really do much platforming though, because Toad can't jump in this. You're kind of just waddling around, making your way through these stages, trying to figure out how to get through them, finding different hidden treasures, as you can see here, secrets and stuff like that. And, you know, this is on the Switch now, which is, I mean, that's going to be a common theme for a lot of these games. They've released so many of these games on the Switch at this point. But Captain Toad actually still worth playing on the Wii U because there are some stages in this that are not on the Switch version. They added some stages to the Switch version from Super Mario Odyssey, but they also took away stages that were in this Wii U version, which is really weird. So, I mean, if you wanna play this complete game, you'd have to play both of the titles. So this is still worth owning today, and I mean, you can probably grab it for really cheap. Captain Toad is an awesome game. I loved it when it came out. This is my only sealed Wii U game I have. This is Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut. I've not played any of the Deus Ex games, but I've heard this one is good and it's one of the better third-party Wii U ports. I know I remember hearing they did some pretty cool stuff with the GamePad and Miiverse and things like that. I'd have to look into it a little more. I don't remember exactly what they did, but from what I've heard, this is a good port of Deus Ex on the Wii U. It is one of the few games that has this like weird black spine. Most of the Wii U games have a white spine here with the title, so it kind of stands out on the shelf. Not a fan of that, but you know, whatever. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I've heard this one's good. All right, we got kind of a crazy one here, and it is Devil's Third. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the common themes with some of these Wii U games is that they kind of have some crazy backstories, and this is no exception. This was originally being published by THQ before they went bankrupt and had some of their financial issues, and it was being directed by Tomonobu Itagaki, the man behind games like Ninja Gaiden and things like that. So it kind of had some pedigree behind it, but obviously when THQ went bankrupt, Nintendo stepped in and picked it up. For some reason, this is absolutely not a game that I would expect Nintendo to pick up, but it is published by Nintendo here. I guess they wanted to kind of fill out their mature audience games on the Wii U, and they kind of did that with this. I knew this game was going to be hard to find. I picked it up basically at launch for $50 or $60, whatever it launched at. And I knew that it was going to be hard to find. I mean, there were reports even before the game came out that Nintendo was not producing a lot of copies of this game. And I don't really blame them because it was not a super polished game. I think it has like a 40 or something on Metacritic. But to be quite honest, I played through this whole game, I beat it, and I enjoyed it. Like, there's a lot of campiness to this thing, but there are a lot of issues. Like, it's not, like I said, not a very polished game. There's a lot of issues and like frame rate drops and things like that. But the gameplay is actually kind of fun. You're doing, there's shooting, third-person shooting, as well as melee combat. I don't know, there's just something about this game that I enjoyed, and especially the multiplayer too. I remember this was one of the first games I ever streamed online, and I streamed the online multiplayer of this game, and there was a ton of stuff to do. There was one mode where it was like you had to collect chickens, so you would go around the map finding chickens, and so you'd have like 3 chickens behind you if you found 3 chickens, and then if you killed enemies that also had chickens, you would collect their chickens as well. So it was this kind of tug of war kind of thing between players, and I don't know, that was super fun, a super weird mode, and something I think you would only find in something like in a game like this. They did end up releasing this on PC at some point. I don't know if it was only the multiplayer modes, but it might have been. But that's now since been delisted as well, and you can't really play that online. So, I mean, this is kind of the only way you can play Devil's Third at this point, especially the single-player mode. So, sadly, it's extremely expensive now, too, going for upwards of $300. But, yeah, no, I had some fun with it, and I think it was worth my purchase. Here is DuckTales Remastered. This is another game that is delisted now, I believe, from online stores. Probably don't have the DuckTales license anymore, but this was a remake of the NES classic DuckTales with a nice 2D, hand-drawn 2D art. This is a nice little remake of a fun platformer, and it can be found on other consoles like the PS3, 360, physically. But I got it on the Wii U here, and it's a good game. I definitely recommend it. Speaking of good games as well, we got Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Now this is honestly one of the best platformers, 2D platformers ever made in my opinion. I absolutely adored Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii, and this game is just as good, if not better. The soundtrack is amazing with David Wise coming in for this one to help out. The levels are just so inventive, so well crafted. Retro Studios just absolutely hit it out of the park with both these Donkey Kong Country games. What a fantastic platformer, and one that's essential. Obviously, this one's also available on the Switch nowadays, so it may be better to get it on there with the new funky mode, but I don't think you'd go wrong picking up this Wii U version either. It's probably cheaper than the Switch one, and there's not too many additions to that Switch version, so if you want to play it, this Wii U version's not bad. Love this game, amazing, highly, highly recommended. Epic Mickey 2, though, wow. Going from good to really bad. This is probably the worst way you can play Epic Mickey 2. I haven't played a lot of this game, but from what I've seen, the Wii version of this game is better than this Wii U version. This port was just awful. It has frame rate drops like crazy. It was just not well polished. It was not optimized for the Wii U at all. So this is just not a good port of the game, like I said. And Epic Mickey 2, in general, is just not a great game. Coming from Epic Mickey 1, which was pretty good, I thought. This one is just not as good, and this Wii U version is really, really garbage. I picked it up at a garage sale for around $2, so I thought I would try it out for that. But yeah, it's not a good game. Here is Game & Wario. This one kind of came out during a dry spell for the Wii U early on, and I had to pick it up. I love the WarioWare games, and this is WarioWare adjacent at least. It doesn't have that WarioWare name, but there are a couple modes in there like Gamer, which is you play as 9-Volt, and you're kind of playing WarioWare micro games in your bed and trying to keep it away from your mom, who's kind of on the lookout. It's genuinely frightening. But I actually really like Game & Wario. There's a lot of single-player games in here are not the best, like the little snowboarding or skiing one, things like that. But the multiplayer games in here are actually really fun. They use the Wii U gamepad and asymmetrical gameplay in a really fun and unique ways. So one of the multiplayer modes is it's like a hide-and-seek type thing almost, where the player on the gamepad is trying to blend in with a crowd of characters, and then they're searching for like an apple or a fruit or something, and they have to try to make sure they're hidden and not spotted by the people that are looking on the TV. So the people that are watching on the TV, they're trying to spot and see which of the characters the player on the gamepad is, and it's super fun. And they got like a Pictionary mode, things like that. So the multiplayer stuff in here is actually really fun. And honestly, the biggest downfall of Game & Wario, it's not even a downfall, it's something that happened later on. It's now missing one of its coolest features, which was Miiverse Sketch. Miiverse Sketch was just incredible. One of the best uses of Miiverse, probably the best use of Miiverse in any game. Man, I'm so sad that this is gone. It was hilarious. People would write prompts, you would draw something, and then you could go in and see people's drawings. Yeah, just a fun time. This is probably going to stay on the Wii U. I don't expect it to get any sort of port because it uses so many of those Wii U features. Unfortunately, it's also another one of those games that's kind of expensive now, but I think it's worth it. I think it's a great multiplayer game. Here is Hyrule Warriors. This is kind of a weird, crazy one because this is kind of when Nintendo was kind of shipping out their IP to publishers and developers like Team Ninja to make these warrior-style games, which we really didn't see before from Nintendo. And, you know, this was cool. This was kind of like one of the first Warrior-style games I ever played. And it's great if you just want to kind of turn off your brain and have a little bit of fun. You're just kind of like mashing a few buttons here and there. There's not a lot of depth to these games, but it's fun, and you get to kind of experience a bunch of characters from the Zelda universe and stuff like that. So Hyrule Warriors is fun. There is like a deluxe version on the Switch now, which is probably worth buying instead of this because it has all the DLC and stuff from the 3DS release as well. So that's probably the one to get. But this was a cool game when it came out, and I definitely did enjoy what I played. There's Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Maybe the game with the best visuals on the Wii U, or the ones I personally prefer the most. Just absolutely beautiful claymation style art. This is a spiritual successor, or you could call it just a sequel to Kirby Canvas Curse on the DS. I don't think it works as well as Canvas Curse because using the Wii U gamepad, like I said, the visuals are amazing on the TV, but you kind of have to play this game by looking just at the gamepad, and that screen is like 480p. It's not the best screen in the world, so you're kind of missing out on the beautiful visuals. But it is still a fun game, and it's probably one of those games that's going to stay on the Wii U. I don't see this getting a port because it was it required so much of that touchscreen. So yeah, this is one of those games that if you have a Wii U, definitely worth picking up because I don't foresee this one being ported anywhere. Here is Breath of the Wild, honestly one of my favorite games of all time. Had to pick it up on the Wii U just kind of for collection purposes. I got this game initially on the Switch at launch, which is how I think most people got it. But I kind of wanted to just have this Wii U version because this is where the game started. You know, this is where the game started development. It had a crazy development cycle, so many delays. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad this found a wider audience on the Switch because who knows how it would have sold if it was like a Wii U exclusive. But not much to say about Zelda Breath of the Wild other than it's an incredible game. Like, it's amazing. So yeah. And here is Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, currently exclusive to the Wii U. There are rumors about this as well as Wind Waker HD getting ported to the Switch. We'll see if that happens, but as it is, this is probably the best way to play Twilight Princess these days, officially, obviously. It's just like a simple HD port. They didn't really do too much here to differentiate it. They didn't upgrade the graphics in any way, but it still looks fantastic in HD, and it plays just as well as it did. Came with this Wolf Link amiibo, which was really cool, but yeah, this is Twilight Princess, and I loved Twilight Princess when it came out on the Wii. Love it now, and obviously there's also the GameCube version, but this is probably the best way to play it. Great game. And finishing off the little Zelda collection here on the Wii U is The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. This may be my favorite Zelda game of all time. I don't know, it's very hard for me to pick because I always go back and forth between them, but I remember Wind Waker was the first game I ever went out of my way to actually pre-order on the GameCube, and I loved it so much. The cel-shaded visuals were just so pretty, and they look great here too. They did upgrade the visuals in a way where I think there's some instances where the characters look less cartoony and more like plasticky in a way, which I don't like. But overall, the upgrades were positive, and I think this is still a fantastic way to play Wind Waker. They did make some upgrades and add some cool Miiverse features as well, which unfortunately you can't use anymore. But yeah, I mean, this is still Wind Waker. They made some quality of life improvements, and just, you know, more people need to play Wind Waker. One of the best Zelda games, one of my favorites, and just an incredible game in general. This is Lego City Undercover, another one of those games that kind of came out during a drought during the Wii U life, and this was honestly one of the first Lego games I ever played, and it was a really good one. This kind of filled that open world GTA style game that Nintendo consoles were missing. Obviously, it's more kid-friendly and geared towards kids, but it's genuinely funny, and there's a lot of cool nods to Nintendo items and characters and things like that in here, and I actually really enjoyed it. The only bad thing about this game was the loading times were abysmal. You would wait 1 to 2 minutes for loading whenever you went inside a building or left a building, it was crazy. But once you were outside, once you were exploring that city, this was a good time. I had a lot of fun with it. And I did a review like way back when on my old channel, but I did quite enjoy this game. This is another one that's available now on all consoles basically, and super cheap. You can grab this for a few bucks here and there. I would recommend trying it out if you like the Lego games, or if you want like a more kid-friendly open world game. Here is Madden 13. I got this one at a garage sale for like $5, which isn't a great price for a Madden game, but the interesting thing about this is that I think this is actually the last Madden game that has appeared on a Nintendo platform. Madden 13 was the last one. Who knows if that'll change with the next Nintendo system? I think it would be stupid if they didn't bring it out on the next Nintendo system, but for now, this was the last Madden game on a Nintendo platform, and I think at least that is interesting about this game. I don't have anything else to say about it other than that, because I don't really play sports games too much. Just wanted to pick it up at a yard sale. This is Mario Kart 8. Yeah, this was a big game for the Wii U, and obviously now it has sold just gangbusters on the Switch with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but this is where it started, and even back then, even with its paltry like 24 courses or whatever it had, it was still an amazing Mario Kart game. Beautiful visuals, great tracks, fun new things like more customization for your karts. Just a fantastic Mario Kart game. The only downfall was its battle mode, which was awful. They took out the battle courses, and thankfully they brought those back for the deluxe version of this game, because wow, it was really bad in Mario Kart 8, and just kind of, I think it was just kind of thrown in there last minute, because you know that wasn't like what Nintendo really wanted out of the battle mode. But yeah, I mean, this game got DLC on the Wii U, and it was one of the best values in DLC at the time. I think you got like basically doubled the tracks in the game for $20, something like that. It might have been even cheaper than $20, but yeah, just a fantastic package. Lots of great fun had with this one, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the one to go for now, but this Wii U version was a ton of fun. Mario Party 10. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to go back to the car mechanic from Mario Party 9 with this one. Like, honestly, in Mario Party 9, sure, I commend them for trying something new. It didn't work out, and I think most people kind of communicated that, and they were like, okay, we don't think this is as good as the board game, but you know, whatever, we'll give it a pass because it was the first one to try something new. But once it doesn't work out, I don't think you should go back to that mode and just bring back a feature that most players did not enjoy. And unfortunately, they did that with Mario Party 10. They did add some cool things like this Bowser Party mode, which used the asymmetrical gameplay where one person was Bowser and he was kind of like doing his own thing, whereas the other players on the TV were doing their own thing. But there just wasn't enough of it. Honestly, that should have been like the main mode, and the Mario Party car mode, what do you want to call it, that should have been kind of the secondary mode. But I don't know, what are you going to do? This is a better game in my opinion than Mario Party 9. There's more to it. They even have this Amiibo Party mode, which kind of plays like an original Mario Party game because you have like a board that you go around, but there's no mini games in this one. So, I mean, I don't know if there's any point to playing that. But yeah, like I said, there's more to this than Mario Party 9, but it's still one of the lower tier Mario Party games. Maybe fun for a few rounds, but I don't know, it's not great. Here's Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. I don't have too much to say about these Mario and Sonic games. They're just kind of like mini game collections, and they're decent fun for like a short amount of time, but there's not too much to them. And I kind of bought this one because at the time I remember this copy of the game, Rio 2016, was kind of hard to find. So I spotted it in a GameStop, and I ended up picking it up because I was like, I might as well. It's one I want to add to the collection anyway. But yeah, I don't have a lot to say about these Mario and Sonic games. And you know, I have Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games as well, Sochi 2014. Again, not much to say about this. This is another little mini game collection, but with winter sports now for the Winter Olympics. And yeah, again, fun mini games here and there, but just not a lot to it. So not much to say about this one either. This is Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I really tried my best to get into this Monster Hunter game. The first Monster Hunter I tried to get into was Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii. And then I came back and tried to get into this Wii U version of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, but I just couldn't. I don't think I had the friends that were playing with me at the time to kind of show me the ropes and teach me how to play this game, because there's a lot to learn in Monster Hunter. And Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate was the one that really got me into the series. And I love it now. I love Monster Hunter now. But I would say it's probably not going to be easy to go back to these older Monster Hunter games with all of the quality of life updates they've made to the new ones like Monster Hunter Rise and World and all that. So yeah, unfortunately, I probably won't ever be going back to this one, but I tried my best, you know. It's probably a great Monster Hunter game from what I've seen of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate too. Need for Speed Most Wanted U. I remember this actually being lauded as having like some of the best visuals on the Wii U and one of the best like third-party ports on the Wii U as well. Criterion really went out of their way to make sure this was kind of worth getting on the Wii U. I remember the ground textures and things like that when it rained and stuff looked beautiful, and it's a fun racing game. Probably one of the better racing games on the Wii U. Not too much to say about it, but you know, I like this game because of the effort that was put into it. You know, a lot of Wii U ports did not have that amount of effort put into it, but this one did. NES Remix Pack. This is another cool one. So NES Remix was actually a little Wii U eShop exclusive for a while there, and then they made a second one, and they decided to release a little pack here of both of them in one physically, which is awesome. And this is kind of like a WarioWare-esque game where Nintendo took some of their old NES franchises and put them in like weird different scenarios. So I think there'd be modes where like it would be dark and you'd have to play through a level while it was dark and things like that. I don't know. They did some weird things. I do kind of wish they went a little bit farther with the craziness and the wackiness. They don't really go all the way to that WarioWare level of wackiness, which I wish they did, but it's still a fun game and a fun little package, a little high score game here. Would have loved to see like an SNES remix pack or something like that, but maybe those games were a little too in depth to kind of make a little compilation like this. But for what it is, NES remix pack is fun, and this is another one that might only stay on the Wii U. Who knows? And this is New Super Luigi U. It did come out during the Year of Luigi for its 30th anniversary. And I mean, come on, Nintendo. Where is another Year of Luigi? We need another one. The 40th anniversary passed. Where was the Year of Luigi? What's going on, Nintendo? We need more Luigi in our lives. But yeah, this was kind of like a level pack for New Super Mario Bros. U. But with this one, the levels were more bite-sized and more difficult, so you could kind of play through them a lot quicker. But it required quite a bit of skill too. So I think there are people out there who prefer this to New Super Mario Bros. U because of those harder levels and just kind of the higher skill ceiling needed to play this game. I love this green case as well. They really went all out for it. It does stand out on the shelf, but I don't know. I love this color of green. Looks great. They did release also a combo pack of this as well as New Super Mario Bros. U in a bundle, I believe, that came in its own case on one disc. But I do like having this kind of standalone version because yeah, you get this green case, and it's a fun game. Do enjoy it. Would recommend picking it up. And of course, we have New Super Mario Bros. U. I think this game actually originally came in the blue box, but I switched it out with Mario Kart 8 to have that red box because it kind of matches more with New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Anyway, this was a launch title for the Wii U, one of the games that you basically had to buy if you were buying a Wii U at launch. There was not a ton of other games, good games out there to pick up, even though actually I think I got like 5 or 6 launch titles for the Wii U, so maybe I'm out of my mind. But yeah, New Super Mario Bros. U, this is probably objectively, if I had to say, one of the best New Super Mario Bros. Games, but I never actually beat this one. For some reason, I didn't get into this as much as other ones like New Super Mario Brothers Wii or New Super Mario Brothers 2. It's still fun. It's a good 2D Mario game, but I kind of wish they did more with the aesthetic here. They did have those those ghost levels that had the painterly backgrounds or watercolor style backgrounds, and I wish they did more of that in more of the levels. But unfortunately, they really didn't. Still a fun game, like I said, and there is the New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe copy for the Switch that's out there that actually does include the New Super Luigi U levels as well. So if you want to play this game, probably better to pick up that version. And this is another launch title, Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. Another interesting one because Nintendo actually published this one as well. They kind of had a good partnership with Team Ninja during this era. And Ninja Gaiden 3, I remember, it did not get the best reviews when it came out. I don't remember why. I don't know if it's because it's like made easier or simplified Ninja Gaiden in a way to kind of appeal to newer players, but I just remember not getting as great reviews when it came out. And supposedly this Razor's Edge version fixed some of those issues that it did have. I did not play this one too much. I did pop it in when I first got my Wii U and played it for a bit, but I didn't play it enough. Ninja Gaiden is one of those series that I really need to get into because it's definitely up my alley. I love hack and slash action games like this and Bayonetta and things like that, so I think I would enjoy this, but I just haven't played a lot of it. What I did play a lot of, though, was Nintendo Land. This is, I would say, probably my favorite Wii U game, or the one that I at least had the most fun with. And it was a launch title. It was the pack-in for the system, and I think it's the best pack-in game ever made, really. Like, I could prefer this to Wii Sports just in terms of fun factor. I think Wii Sports maybe did a better job at showing off the console and really introducing it to a larger audience, but Nintendo Land as a package just has so much going for it, so much more content. It's incredible. The way that it uses the asymmetric gameplay for the multiplayer stuff is so unique and really not something that you could do on any other system. And it's a shame because this will stay on the Wii U forever, probably. And I don't foresee a Nintendo Land 2 unless they do something with maybe phones or something like that. But I just absolutely adored this game. Me and my friends played this to death. Some of the single player modes weren't great, like the Octopus Dance one and Captain Falcon's Twister Race. They weren't great. They were a little simple fun, but it's the multiplayer games where you were going to get all of your fun. Specifically, Luigi's Ghost Mansion was a huge standout. One of the best multiplayer games I've ever played in general. One person plays as the ghost on the gamepad, the others try to shine a light on the ghost. It's just so fun. My friends and I would play this for hours and just scream. One of my highest viewed videos on my main channel is like a really old one of me and my friends just playing Luigi's Ghost Mansion, and we're just yelling, just screaming our brains out because, you know, you have to communicate in these games, and that's what they did really well. Just having that local multiplayer and communicating with people, it was so much fun. It's same thing with Animal Crossing Sweet Day, Mario Chase, all these games. And then these team-up games, these co-op ones, were really fun too. They had so many levels, so much depth to them. The Metroid Blast one had like 25 levels or something like that. It was like a horde mode. Man, I can't say enough good things about Nintendo Land. I love this game so much. And it's silly to say, but I think this was worth owning a Wii U for. Just this alone. There was obviously other games that came out, but wow, Nintendo Land, so good. Here we got Paper Mario Color Splash. Yeah, it's certainly not as bad as Paper Mario Sticker Star, but I don't think they did enough to really make this game truly great. There are some good moments in here, some really funny moments, as Paper Mario does have. Even Sticker Star had like funny moments and good writing. But they still basically kept the sticker system. They just changed it to cards this time, and I was not a fan of that in Sticker Star, and I was not a fan of it here either. Visually, the game looks amazing. It was the first Paper Mario in HD, and it really shows. It looks fantastic, but there's just not enough character in this game, and not enough they did with the battle system and things like that to really improve upon the bad things in Sticker Star. So, like I said, Still better than Sticker Star, but really one of the worst Paper Mario games still. This is an exclusive to the Wii U though. It has not been ported to the Switch or anything like that, so who knows if it will be, but for now, if you want it, you need to buy it on the Wii U. Pikmin 3. Yeah, I've been playing Pikmin 4 on the Switch, and that game is just fantastic. And Pikmin 3 was very good too. I think Pikmin 3 came out about 9 years after Pikmin 2, so just about as long as we had to wait between this and Pikmin 4. But Pikmin 4 was worth the wait, Pikmin 3 was worth the wait, just so much going for it. And there is Pikmin 3 Deluxe on the Switch now, but actually I think there's still some merit to this Wii U version because you do have the gamepad to use as the map, and I think Wii Remote Nunchuck is the best way to play these games. That's why the new Play Control versions of Pikmin 1 and 2 I really enjoy. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's still some merit to this version of Pikmin 3 if you want to play on the Wii U. It's you're not going to miss out too much visually. It still looks fantastic. And it's probably pretty cheap to pick up nowadays. So honestly, not a bad way to play Pikmin 3 if you really want to. Here's Pokken Tournament. What a strange game. Pokemon fighting. I just would not expect this. But yeah, this was a Pokemon fighting game from the Tekken team. I always wondered why they called it Pokken Tournament and not Pokemon Tournament, because I feel like that could lead some people off, and maybe I feel like Pokemon Tournament would just make more sense and people would get it more. But I guess it's hard to really confuse Pikachu on the cover here. It did come with this Mewtwo amiibo card. I don't know if that was the only amiibo you could use in this game, but I did not play this too much. I'm not a huge fighting game guy. It's really hard for me to get into fighting games because I'm not good at them, I'll be honest. And I didn't play this one too much, but from what I've heard other people say, it's a pretty good fighting game and pretty fun. If you like Pokemon, probably worth picking up. Another game worth picking up is Rayman Legends. And another game with kind of a wild story. Like, this was supposed to be a Wii U exclusive at first, but Ubisoft ended up seeing how the Wii U was selling, and they were like, nope, we're gonna make this for every other console. And it's really weird because so much of this game was designed to be used with the Wii U gamepad. Like, a lot of the levels were designed to be used with the touchscreen and swiping and cutting down ropes and things like that, as you can see here. And they made it work on other consoles, but it's just, I don't know, I found it weird because this game it felt like it was definitely made for the Wii U, and I still think it's probably the best way to play this game. I've played the console versions, and I just don't think it's as fun. I do also remember before this game came out, there was like a demo sort of thing where you could play through levels and try to get through them as fast as possible. And I think I screenshotted something at one point where I was like #1 on some of the levels in that mode. So that was fun. That was a cool little way to dip your toes into Rayman Legends. But just incredible art. The Ubi art engine they used for this was amazing. I think this is one of the best looking 2D games ever made. Love it. Love Rayman Legends. Just like Rayman Origins before it. Fantastic platformer. Another game with kind of like a crazy history behind it. This is Rodea the Sky Soldier, directed by Yuji Naka, the man behind the Sonic series, and more well-known now for being a convicted felon because of insider trading. But yeah, Rodea the Sky Soldier, this was originally developed for the Wii, and it just never found a home there. Then the Wii U version came out, and it's actually really weird because this actually comes with a copy of the Wii game, and this is by far the best way to play this game. There is a Wii U version that is completely different, and it runs poorly. It looks worse, I think, in terms of just the art style. And it's not the right way to play Rodea the Sky Soldier. I think this is a game that is worth playing, but only if you play this Wii version. And it is cool because they actually came with 2 manuals in here, one for the Wii version and one for the Wii U version itself. And it also has a reversible cover as well. And here's that reversible cover. I think if I had like an extra Wii box or something, I would pop this in there and pop in the Wii copy of the game, because this is really basically a Wii game, not a Wii U game. I would not recommend playing this Wii U version, as I said. And if you do want to try it out, definitely play this the Wii version. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. This is another launch game that I picked up. and it filled that Mario Kart hole that the Wii U was missing for a while there in that launch window, because Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform is a fantastic game. The Wii U version, probably not the best way to play this game, as it was capped to, I think, 30 frames per second, which is not ideal for a racing game like this, but it still played well. And it was the only way at the time to play 5-player locally, and maybe it still is the only way. One person can play on the GamePad, 4 people on the TV, and this is a fantastic kart racer. I love the way the levels transform. I love how everything changes during each lap. Probably my favorite Sonic racing game. The original was pretty good too, but this is definitely the best one. And another Sonic title here. This is Sonic Lost World. They also had like a Deadly 6 edition that had like a nice shiny cover, but I don't have that one. Sonic Lost World, I actually, honestly, in terms of 3D Sonic games, I think this one is pretty good from what I've played. I haven't beat this, but I actually really like what they did here. They tried something and made it almost like a Super Mario Galaxy-esque style. And they had some cool movement options. It did feel weird in some areas playing the game, but I did enjoy playing it. I'm not a big fan of 3D Sonic these days. I did like Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, but ever since that, I haven't really enjoyed many of the Sonic titles. Even Sonic Colors I wasn't a huge fan of, but Sonic Lost World here, I thought was pretty cool. Like I said, from what I played, I have heard that towards the later levels, it starts to kind of go downhill a bit, but you know, it's kind of cool. And like I said, I did enjoy what they did here. Splatoon is a big one here. This was one of the big brand new IPs for the Wii U, and you know, Nintendo really hit it out of the park. When they first announced this during an E3 Direct, I really wasn't sure what to make of it. Nintendo and shooters aren't really synonymous with each other. They don't really have too many multiplayer shooters in their library, but this came out and it was a great idea. The idea of just painting the world to kind of, you know, paint as much of it as you can versus the other team. Just an incredible idea, and as you can tell now, it's just become a huge franchise, especially in Japan with multiple sequels, Splatoon 2 and 3, both great games as well, and you know, this is the one that started it all. Had a great single-player mode too, really fun single-player, and the Wii U version here has never been ported. So if you want to play like the single-player, this is the only way to play it, and it's super cheap, really fun. Love Splatoon. Here's a game that I don't think gets enough love. That is Star Fox Zero, and it does come with this Star Fox Guard copy as well in this little big box. But when this was announced, it was a pretty big deal because it was the first console Star Fox game in a long time. And I remember the first time it was shown off was like Miyamoto in front of a TV screen playing a blurred out screen, and I don't know if he was actually talking about Star Fox or if he just mentioned it, or if people just surmised that it was Star Fox based on the blurred out screen. But either way, big deal, and they really tried to push this during one of their E3 Directs as well. It was their headliner for that E3 Direct. This was being co-developed by Platinum Games as well, which also was a cool thing to me because I love Platinum. And like I said, I don't think this game gets enough love. I think it is a really good Star Fox game and holds up just as well as something like Star Fox 64. I know people can't get past the controls and what they did with the GamePad, but I really didn't have a lot of problems with it. I would use the TV to aim a lot of the time too, and you know, you could still use the GamePad to do some fine-tune aiming there. And like I said, I just had no problem with it. I had a lot of fun. I did like the new vehicles they added. I don't know, man. This is a really good Star Fox game to me, and I think people need to give it another chance because it's fun. I don't know. I don't think it's going to get another lease on life either. I think it's going to stay on the Wii U forever. And who knows if we're going to get another Star Fox game. I hope we do, obviously, but I don't know. After this one, it did not sell very well based on what I know, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully this isn't the last we see of Fox and his friends. The big Mario game on the Wii U was Super Mario 3D World. I was honestly kind of a hater of this game when it first came out. Not really, like I did enjoy it, I had fun with it, but I was, at the time, I was saying to myself that Super Mario 3D Land on the 3DS was a better version of this game. I don't think that's the case now. especially with the Switch release of Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. They fixed some of the things that I really didn't like about this version, which was mainly the movement speed. I thought this game felt really slow, and I would always play as Toad for that reason, because he was the fastest by far, and I just felt like it was more fun to play as him because it was much more fun to move around the levels at a faster speed. So I'm super glad they changed that in the Switch version. And now going back to it with that one, I can see there's a lot of variety in the levels. There's a ton of inventive things there. I mean, it's just really fun. It's a great Mario game. Still probably not one of my top 3D Mario games, but I still really like it. And it's worth playing whether you play it on the Wii U here or you play it on the Switch. I would recommend that Switch version because Bowser's Fury is also amazing. Oh man, Super Mario Maker here. I would say this is one of the top defining games for the Wii U. Such an incredible idea. A game where you make Mario levels. Why hadn't they done that before? I don't know, but the Wii U made perfect sense for it with the GamePad and just, everything that you could do with it. And I think, honestly, I enjoyed this version of Mario Maker more than I did Mario Maker 2. Obviously, Mario Maker 2 has a ton of awesome new additions, but it's just not as fun to create levels in that game, I think, without the gamepad. And I just like the simplicity of this one as well. You can't do things like hills, things like that in this version. But they had a lot more fun things, like in Super Mario Brothers, the Super Mario Brothers version of the level creator. You could have sprites of KK Slider and Samus and just so many different characters and theme levels around that, which was so fun. And they kind of took that away with Mario Maker 2, except, I know they added things like Link in Mario Maker 2, but it's just not the same as with this one. So I just love what this game did for the community. There was just so much fun to be had going online, finding new levels, seeing competitions between people. I remember watching Giant Bomb, if anybody's familiar with that. They were making levels that were crazy and kind of going back and forth, trying to beat each other's levels. So much fun. It's sad that you can't go into here and download new levels anymore, but I would still say as a creation tool, super, super fun, and one of the highlights for the Wii U. You can't have a Nintendo console without Smash Brothers these days. Smash for Wii U, really, really fun game. It was kind of weird because Smash for 3DS actually came out first before this Wii U version, and then this Wii U version came out, and it kind of made the 3DS one obsolete. Obviously, that version was portable and you could play it wherever you want, but most people are going to be playing this in front of their TV with their friends. But you could use the 3DS version as a controller, or the 3DS console itself as a controller, which was really weird. I don't know anybody who did that. But yeah, lots of great characters, lots of cool stages. Not a ton to say about Smash Brothers other than it is Smash Brothers. There was a lot of fun to be had here. They did have, I think, DLC for this as well that added some new things. And yeah, my main was Villager. I loved that little guy. Had a lot of fun with this one, but we don't really go back to it too much these days. Here is Tank Tank Tank. I believe this is another launch title. I did not get this one at launch. I got it a little bit later, but it's a fun little multiplayer game, and it uses asymmetric gameplay pretty well too. One person plays on the gamepad as a huge little monster, and the others play as tanks on the TV. And it's like I said, it's a fun multiplayer game. I think the one thing people kind of complained about this one was that there just wasn't a ton of content, and that's kind of true. But if you can find this one for cheap, I think it's a fun time with friends for a few sessions here and there. I don't know if it is cheap. It might be like a $30, $40 game, but this is not a bad one in my opinion. It did start out as an arcade title, and I remember people raving about the arcade game, so seeing it on console was pretty cool too. I don't think this one's ever going to get a port anywhere, so the Wii U is the only place you're going to be able to play it. Here is a launch title I did pick up though. This was Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Wii U Edition, and I remember this had a ton of effort put into it as well. Like, they really went all out with this, and I think it may actually be the definitive version of Tag Tournament 2. Don't think a lot of people played it, but there was a lot of really cool things added, like Mario costumes, new modes like Mushroom Battle, Tekken Ball, things like that added, exclusive features on the Wii U, as it says back here. But yeah, like this is a really great fighting game. I didn't play it a ton, as I mentioned earlier. I'm not a huge fighting game guy, and it's just really hard for me to get into fighting games without really like putting the time into them to get good, and I'm not good. So yeah, I didn't play this one too much, but it is a great port and a high effort port for the Wii U. If you're a fighting game fan, probably one of the best here, best traditional ones at least. Here is Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. That is a mouthful and hard for me to say, but this is another game that is kind of has a crazy history again. It started out announced, and I think it was like one of the first Wii U games ever announced, and it was announced as Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. So people thought it would be maybe like a strategy RPG or something like that with Shin Megami Tensei characters, or had a lot more Fire Emblem to it. But really what it became is almost more like a Persona style game. It is based on idols and idol culture in Japan. So there's a lot of like music segments and little cutscenes with music in there. And the Fire Emblem, the Fire Emblem part of this game is kind of more minimal. It comes out in the way of your summons and things like that. But I love this game, to be honest. It was a huge surprise. I'm not I don't play RPGs to completion a lot because a lot of them are so long. This was about a 50-hour game, so it was like, that's just about right for me. Like that's about as long as I really want a JRPG to be at the most. And you know, I like I said, I played it to completion, really enjoyed it, had a ton of fun, especially towards the end. There's some really awesome stuff that happens at the end. Great characters. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it plays a lot like Persona, and the battle system is really fun too. Really would recommend this one, especially if you can pick it up now on the Switch. They re-released it, and yeah, it's worth playing if you're a JRPG fan for sure. Here's Wii Fit U. This was actually the first Wii Fit game I ever owned. And there's stuff like, there's other fitness games now like Ring Fit Adventure, but I actually really love the Wii Fit games. They gamified the fitness portion a little more than something like Ring Fit. Ring Fit is a little more straight fitness, and it does work you out. It's a good workout, but I do like the mini games in Wii Fit, and they do have like strength training as well in here. So, you know, they try to capture that Wii magic again with Wii Fit and then Wii Sports and things like that. They just it didn't appeal to the same audience anymore. I don't think the people that bought the Wii U. So not a lot of people got this game. One thing I do remember though is that the pedometer that came with it was apparently one of the most accurate pedometers ever made. This is really weird. But yeah, cool game. I do like Wii Fit. Probably maybe not worth upgrading if you had Wii Fit or Wii Fit Plus though. Another Wii branded game here. This is Wii Party U. Honestly, in terms of party games, if you're not talking about like Nintendo Land, this is probably the best party game on the system, and I really do enjoy this one, especially more than Mario Party 10. This is honestly more like Mario Party than Mario Party 10 is, because it has boards that you can play on and things like that, and the mini games are fun. There's a lot of cool stuff that it tried to do with the GamePad, like this GamePad party mode. You could lay it on its side, and it actually came with this horizontal gamepad stand, which is one of the weirdest accessories for any system I've ever seen. But like I said, they did some fun stuff, and they definitely tried to use the gamepad in unique ways. If you want a nice party game, I would recommend Wii Party U. And then we got Wii Sports Club here. This was another weird one because initially they released these sports, I think individually, and you could buy like a pass to play it for like 2 days or a week or something, and you may have been able to just straight out buy each sport individually on the eShop, but they ended up releasing this as a physical release with all the games in it, and you know, I thought it was just a strange release, because coming from Wii Sports Resort, which is an amazing game, this basically goes back and recreates the original Wii Sports, which has fewer sports in it and just not as much to do. So as a package, it felt like not a great deal. Sure, there was online now, and like there was a few new modes added, but just like I said, coming from Wii Sports Resort, I couldn't help but be disappointed by this. It's the same deal with like Switch Sports these days. Just it pales in comparison to something like Wii Sports Resort. I wish they would kind of go back to that style. Who knows if they'll make another Switch Sports or Wii Sports style game, but this one, still fun. It was still Wii Sports, but it just didn't have that same impact that it did back on the Wii. All right, here is another one of my all-time favorites, Wonderful 101 on the Wii U. Love this game so much, I made 2 videos on my main channel. One when this game came out and one when the re-release, Wonderful 101 Remastered, came out. So glad this game got a second lease on life, and I know it didn't sell well still when it came out again, but the Kickstarter campaign was very successful, and I'm very happy to see that because I love this game so much. I think it's Platinum's best game. I think it just did not get the love that it deserved when it came out. People complain about the controls so much, which is just absolutely bogus. They said playing with the Wii U GamePad, it didn't recognize your little motions and unite morphs, and that's just not true. You got to play this game with the analog stick too. I think that's how it was initially designed, and I think Hideki Kamiya added those touch controls in like as an afterthought because it was just a Wii U game. This game is crazy. It's absolutely absurd. The stuff that happens in here is insane. Platinum makes a lot of crazy games. Like Bayonetta is crazy, but this takes it up another notch, which is saying a lot. I can't say enough good things about the Wonderful 101. It's just an amazing action game. I kind of compare it to it's like a mix between Bayonetta, Okami, and Pikmin, because you got those 100 troops around you walking around. So good, so many great set pieces. Please play the Wonderful 101 if you haven't. It's an amazing game. This is Xenoblade Chronicles X, still another exclusive on the Wii U. I'm surprised this one hasn't gotten a port to the Switch or anything. I did not play this one too much. I remember the announcements and trailers being super exciting. The world was just huge and it looked beautiful, but I think it's one of those games, I think I mentioned with like Tokyo Mirage Sessions, just too big of an RPG for me. I tried to play it, but there's just too much in here. People have sunk hundreds of hours into this game and still not finished it, and it's just hard for me to do that these days. I really need to play the Xenoblade games in general. I haven't even played like Xenoblade Chronicles to completion, but this one it was hard for me to get into. And I know it's a good game. I know a lot of people love it. I love the mechs that they added in here, but it's just not something that I put a ton of time into, unfortunately. So I can't say too much about it, but I know it's something people do enjoy. Yoshi's Woolly World here, though, I did put time into, and wow, this is just an incredible 2D platformer with one of the best art styles ever. Kind of harping off of the Kirby's Epic Yarn style. This is more crochet, I would say, but yeah, Yoshi's Woolly World, very much like Yoshi's Island, and some people actually say this is better than Yoshi's Island. I'm not one of those people. I think Yoshi's Island is still the top tier Yoshi game, but this is close. This is right up there. Incredible levels, fantastic stuff, super cute, and they had a great amiibo support too. You could basically tap any amiibo at the time, and you could get like a costume for Yoshi here. Really cool stuff. Fantastic game. They also had the 3DS release called Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World that added a few things, but I think this Wii U version is still the way to play it because of just how great it looks on the TV, and still only available on the Wii U in terms of consoles. And last but not least, in terms of the standard edition games go, for the Wii U was Zombie U, another launch title, and I actually really love this game. It's one of those survival horror games that has a little bit of a roguelike element to it, because when you die, that character is dead and you wake up as a new character, and you have to go back and collect the items that the old character had in that same area that you died in. So really cool mechanics, and it used the gamepad in a great way, because you had inventory management you had to do on the gamepad, and while you did that inventory management, the game itself would still be running on the main screen, so you didn't know what was happening. Zombies could be coming up on you while you were moving things around in your bag. So when you would look back up, a zombie could be right in front of you, and it was super tense. Really did have a sense of scariness to it, and it was just a ton of fun to play. Just really cool game, and this is another one that had kind of a weird history behind it, because Originally, it was shown off as, I believe it was called Killer Freaks from Outer Space, which used kind of Rayman, Raving Rabbids style enemies in there, and that was one of the first Wii U games shown off. And then it turned into Zombie U here. And one aspect of this game nobody talks about, I never see anybody talk about this aspect of the game, is this game's multiplayer. It is amazing. So this also uses the asymmetric gameplay of the Wii U in just a fantastic way. The way it works is that one person is playing on the GamePad, and they kind of have like a strategy element. So it's made up to be like a horde mode, and the person on the GamePad has like a top-down view of the entire map, and they can tap the touchscreen to place down zombies within the world. And whoever's playing on the TV has to go around and make sure they don't get killed by those zombies. So as the game keeps going, the person on the GamePad can lay more and more zombies down, and it just becomes like a great tug of war between the person on the GamePad, the person on the TV. It's so much fun. I mean, it's I don't know if my explanation did it justice, but it's such a cool concept and something I haven't seen before. I think more people really need to try out that mode. The one thing I would suggest is don't let the player on the TV use a Wii remote and nunchuck, because I think it kind of breaks the game. It's definitely much better if you play with a controller. There was too much aim assist when you use the Wii remote and nunchuck, but it's such an incredible mode. And like I said, one that nobody talks about. I actually really love this game. They did release it on other consoles down the line, but this is by far the better way to play it, in my opinion, because of the gamepad features and the multiplayer. Would highly recommend it. This is like a cheap ass game, $10 or less easily. And I do have one more thing here, that is Sing Party, in this big box that came with the Wii U microphone down here, as you can see. This is actually still sealed. I've never opened this because I'm not much of a karaoke person. I just thought it was really weird because this was published again by Nintendo here, and they actually worked with Activision and Freestyle Games to create this karaoke game for the Wii U, as if people were looking to do that. I don't know. This was kind of the family game at launch when the system came out, and you use the gamepad to kind of see the lyrics and sing based on that. And I don't know, it's not like a great use of the Wii U gamepad, because I think when you do karaoke, you're just looking at the TV anyway. But such a weird thing for Nintendo to publish, and I've never played it, like I said, but who knows, maybe as a karaoke fan, you'll like this. And to finish things off here, I just wanted to show a few of the big box and limited editions on the Wii U that I have. There weren't a ton of collector's editions on the system. There was a couple that were like Nintendo World Store, or Nintendo New York as it's known now, exclusives, which are insanely expensive. There was one from Mario Kart 8, as well as Hyrule Warriors. I wish they would have done wide releases for those, but sadly they didn't. But I do have some big boxes here for like amiibo bundles and a couple limited editions. But all the games from here on out I've already shown, so I'm not going to talk about them too much. But I just wanted to show these little bundles that they came with, including Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. We kind of started with this game. We're sort of ending with it, not like really, because there's more I'm about to show. But as you can see, it came with a couple amiibo here, Isabelle and Digby, and it didn't come with some amiibo cards as well. This box it's an attractive looking box, at least. That's the one positive I can say about this. I love Animal Crossing, and I do love the characters and stuff, so it's nice seeing them on here. And they had to release this because I think the only way you can play this game is with those amiibo. So if you didn't have the amiibo, you couldn't really play the game at all. But yeah, there's that Amiibo Festival box. And we got Wii Party U here that came with this black Wii Remote Plus, similar to Wii Play and Wii Play Motion before it. They kind of used this bundle to try and sell Wii Party U, as well as include that Wii U gamepad stand that is still so weird to me. But yeah, this is just a little bundle that came with a Wii Remote. You had to use the Wii Remote to play these games anyway, so it kind of makes sense if you didn't have one already. But yeah, a little bundle here, similar to what they did on the Wii. Cool little box. Yeah, Wii Party U. And this one's not really interesting to look at. This is Yoshi's Woolly World. This came with an amiibo of the green wool yarn Yoshi. I took that out though, so this is just an empty box at this point. They did have bundles that came with the pink and the blue yarn Yoshis as well, but this is the one I got, the green one. A cool little bundle, and those yarn Yoshi are amazing. I love these amiibos so much. I do have all 3 of them, but I didn't buy the bundles. I just bought them separately. So yeah, this was a cool bundle to get for Yoshi's Woolly World. Here we got the Smash Brothers for Wii U little big box bundle here that came with a GameCube controller as well as the GameCube controller adapter. And I think when this came out, I thought it was crazy because I thought it was awesome that Nintendo was still releasing GameCube controllers like 12, 13 years after the GameCube came out for basically one game. I love it though. I hope they never stop using the GameCube controller. You can still use it for Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Switch. The GameCube controller is one of my favorite controllers of all time. So the fact that this had a little bundle that came with it is so cool. And the box itself, pretty nice. We got this little shiny little spots on the side here. Really cool little bundle. Happy to have picked this one up. Yeah, like I said, such a weird thing, but I love it. Here is the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD amiibo bundle here that came with the Wolf Link amiibo down there. I did actually open that one, but I was able to save the box for it and kind of put it back in there. So it kind of looks nice within this box. And I love that the box itself is nice and shiny on the front. Really looks premium. And this feels like a limited edition copy of the game, even though it's not really advertised that way. So yeah, you see it comes with the game, the amiibo, and I think the back and everything else is pretty much the same. So it really is just kind of the amiibo included there with the game, but it's still a nice little bundle to have, and it looks great. And then we do have a few special editions here, including Rodea the Sky Soldier. Weird game to get a special edition, to be honest. Especially since there were so few on the system itself, but this is a cool special edition. It came with like a soundtrack, an art book, things like that. And the box is really nice. It has some nice art on it here, as you can see. But yeah, there is Rodea the Sky Soldier, the limited edition of that. And we do also have the special edition here for Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Was really happy to get this because this one also comes with like an art book and a soundtrack, and art books are like my favorite things in special editions here. It's got great art on the box here, on the outer box, and this is like a nice compact little special edition. I really like how small this one is. It does include, as you can see here, it says that art book and soundtrack. And then we just got a bunch of characters on the back here, character art. I did not talk about Barry Goodman. How could I not mention Barry Goodman when I was talking about Tokyo Mirage Sessions? Such a great character. Just amazing. Probably the best character in the game. I love him so much. You got to play the game just to see Barry Goodman, to be honest. He's incredible. His character has an amazing summon as well. So good. Love Barry Goodman. Love this game. Fantastic stuff. Cool special edition here. Got the big boy. Here's Xenoblade Chronicles X. Really nice box. Even though I haven't really played this a lot, I had to pick this up just because of the fact that, like I said, there weren't a ton of special editions on the Wii U. So when one did come out, I was kind of all over it. And it has this nice embossed cover here. This part pops out a little bit. And on the back, just got some screenshots of the game and shows what comes with it. A nice big 100-page art book. The game, an art card. And this was kind of a thing they did back then for a lot of special editions. They would put the soundtrack on like a USB drive. I never liked this. I hated this. Much more of a fan of like actual CDs with special editions, but yeah, whatever. What are you gonna do? They did this a lot of times back then, but this is a cool special edition. And as a Xenoblade fan, I'm sure people were hugely into this. We've got one more, which is easily my favorite special edition here on the system. That is the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD collectible figure limited edition here that comes with the Ganondorf figure. Kind of hard to see there. It's a little dark, but this figure is awesome. I've never actually taken it out of its box. I think it just looks so nice sitting there. within the box. Such a cool special edition, and I remember this one was really, really hard to get when it came out. I was just basically online all the time, on the prowl, making sure I was there to get a pre-order, and I think I got one from GameStop or something like that. Just great art. You got Zelda here, you got Link here, and Ganondorf on the front. And for one of my favorite games of all time, too. So, you know, I had to get this when I had the chance. I'm very happy that I was able to pick this one up because it's an awesome limited edition with an awesome figure for an awesome game. Yeah, super, super happy to have this. So there you go, guys. That was my Wii U collection. I mean, there's a lot of things you could say about the Wii U. The console was, like I said at the beginning, a huge failure for Nintendo, but there were so many great games on the thing, like I showed off here. And I did really enjoy the system. I had a ton of fun with it, especially with friends. Local multiplayer was where this console really excelled, and I did enjoy that aspect of it. I know from a collecting standpoint, a lot of people are trying to go for complete collections for the system because it has such a small library. That's not really how I collect. I'm very happy with the collection I have here. Only about 50 or so games, but there's not too much else I want. I've gotten a lot of what I want, and I really had a good time going through it all and kind of reminiscing about it. And I hope you guys did too. Go back, play some Wii U games, play some Nintendo Land, play some Wonderful 101. There's just a lot to enjoy on the system still. There's still a few games that are exclusive to it, so worth going back to the system and checking it out and playing some games on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed going through this journey with me. It was another long one, but thanks for sticking around if you did. And if you did stick around till the end, that means you gotta play some Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival with me.